Early. What's going on, guys? I'm going to do a short stream tonight, probably about an hour. I don't think I'll be able to get Polandball news out this week. Aaron is way ahead of me on his segment. So it'll probably go out next week. I'll work a bunch off stream, but I have a general idea for sort of the segments that we want to do. I don't know if you guys saw this morning. There's that bridge in Baltimore that collapsed when a container ship lost power and rammed into it. So we'll be covering that. Pretty wild story. How's everybody doing? Conrad, Red Halo, Sphinxin, Sunny, Alush, Apasip, SJW, SP Gaming, Youngblood, Random Enjoyer. Welcome back, everybody. Stop Motion Dan, welcome. Yeah, it's pretty sad. What do you think of the potential proxy war between France and Russia over Francophrique? I mean, it doesn't matter. Russia is a fading great power. Like, they can't keep this up forever. They have a collapsing demographic problem. They don't have the economic strength to underwrite their ambitions. Jacob Hendrickson, hello. Marvel Sphere, hello. Yeah, I mean, similarly, I mean, you know, France is more capable great power than Russia in most aspects, right? It has a smaller nuclear arsenal, and it's a smaller country physically and then in terms of population, but that doesn't really matter. But you know, Disco Malawi, welcome. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing Russia in like the death throes of it's in a death spiral. Russia. 100 years from now, it won't be the power that it is today. I mean, even, you know, Russia today is not what it was 30 years ago. 35 years ago, I guess. It was part of the Soviet Union. All right, so let me pull up my script. What was I working on? So for Polandball news, we've got introduction. We're going to do the terrorist attack in Moscow. Peace in our Palestine. I think that's what we had decided on. TikTok ban in the U.S. U.S. recognizes Indian claim to Arunachal Pradesh. Trump saved by the courts yet again. Weather. Aaron will do the bridge in Maryland that collapsed. Bridge in Maryland. I'll put Aaron here. Saudi Arabia is likely to be on the UN Gender Equality Forum, which is pretty funny. Do something with sports, maybe. Russia is not a major power, won't be for some time. No, Russia is still very much a great power. It's just, it's not a superpower, you know? And this isn't exactly a hot take, but Russia has never been a superpower. The Soviet Union was a superpower, but the Soviet Union and Russia are not the same thing, right? The Soviet Union was had constituent parts, of which Russia was only one, right? I mean, you can see Ukraine had a tremendous contribution to the sort of engineering and technological and scientific strength of the Soviet Union. So the fact that, you know, Ukraine and Russia are independent states now sort of highlights Russia's sort of fall from or it highlights the fact that the Soviet Union was greater than the sum of its parts. Is it raining where I live? No, I have like a fireplace going on the TV, so you're probably hearing that in the background. You have a sports idea, Jacob? What's the idea? Only Stalin really made Russia a superpower? No, it was just here. Let's we'll get started here. We'll do the TikTok thing. Did I do ceasefire? Did I save these? Hold on. Let me find my folder. Peace in our Palestine. That was a good suggestion. I forget who came up with it, but it was very good. So we did this. This was the only like solo panel I did last night, which is pretty good. We demand to be taken seriously. Tajikistan. Get rid of that flag. Okay, so we'll do TikTok. What's the TikTok logo? Tic Tac. So no, the Soviet Union became a superpower because it was big and a relatively early industrialized power. That's it. The modern sort of description of great powers is a post-industrial era kind of, or post-industrial revolution sort of concept. The UK was the foremost, it was the preeminent global power for about a century and a half, because it was the first country to industrialize. So it had a massive economic and technological advantage over other countries, despite being a relatively small country, right? Russia, the Russian Empire, and later the Soviet Union, industrialized much slower than the other sort of continental powers in Europe, particularly France, Germany, and the United Kingdom. But it did eventually industrialize, largely through collectivization efforts and central planning, sort of at, at a pretty high human cost. But the Soviet Union, just by virtue of being a physically larger country, had access to more natural resources than these other countries in Europe that had to rely on their empires and importing them from the far reaches of their empires. And the Soviet Union was just more populous than France or the United Kingdom. This is why the United States is a global superpower, is because it industrialized relatively early, and it's a very populous country. So, the size of your population matters. And for the longest time, China and India, for example, sort of got by on just being massively populous, right? Now, China has the economic strength to underwrite, more global ambitions. India doesn't, not yet. Maybe it will someday. But Russia is shrinking. It has a demographic time bomb. It won't have the manpower to sort of back up its ambitions, whereas the United States does. France is in a much better demographic position. So, India too. Sports idea. College hockey is in the playoffs right now. Michigan has 4 different teams, and Minnesota only has 1. Do you want for the Moscow concert attack? Yeah, we're doing that. Was UK saddened that we demand to be taken seriously? No, they're all supposed to be smug. So I try to give them smug eyes. Baltimore bridge collapse. Aaron is doing that. He's doing that segment for his PNN. So I will do Moscow, peace in our time, or peace in our Palestine. TikTok ban. Maybe U.S. recognizes Indian claim to Arunachal Pradesh. I'll do the weather. Sports, we might do, what's it called? Might do March Madness or something. What did I spell wrong? Oh, no, okay, you're talking to chat. A Ukrainian Sergei Korolev was the head of the space program. Vostok 1, Luna 2, many more historic missions until he died. Ukraine produced half space rockets before the war. Yes. I did not know that Korolev was Ukrainian. Korolev. Is he Ukrainian? Yeah, he was born in Zhytomyr. Yeah, in western Ukraine. Part of the reason why the Soviet lunar program never got off the ground was Korolev was their chief rocket engineer, rocket scientist, and he died in 1966 in the middle of the space race. He was the Soviet counterpart to Wernher von Braun, if you guys are familiar with him. Wernher von Braun was a former Nazi who was captured by the Americans and basically given carte blanche to make the Saturn V rocket and its predecessors and NASA. Has Falco still posted in the subreddit? I don't think Falco's ever posted in the subreddit. Who would win in a fight, France or Brazil? Earth would win. Oh. Everyone talks about Russia's dictator. Nobody talks about Canada's dictator. Who? Celine Dion? Aaron is also American? No, Aaron is Canadian. Alright, I need to draw the TikTok logo. Let's see. It's a pretty recognizable logo, right? Let's start this way. No. Alright, and there's like a pink layer and a blue layer. Oops. You kids and your Tic Tacs. So I was never into social media. But TikTok was the first like social media platform that just like completely flew past me, you know? Like I had absolutely no desire. There was like no pull to get involved, to make an account. Like I had a Facebook for a number of years when it first came out. Got rid of it because it's stupid. Let's see, red. I've never liked Twitter. I think Twitter is stupid. I think Twitter is probably the dumbest of like all the mainstream social media apps. And the people on Twitter, like Twitter users, are insane. Like they've got terminal Twitter brain, you know? Like they think that things that happen on Twitter matter when they don't. At all. Like, no one cares about Twitter except for Twitter users, you know? Oops. Okay, now I put this behind the blue, I think. No, do I? Yeah, okay, whatever. This looks good enough. This is TikTok. That's why For All Mankind were in Mars by 2000. For All Mankind, the first season was great. Every subsequent season got worse. Just because it becomes so untethered from reality, it's hard to suspend disbelief. And it just becomes like, the writing just gets a lot worse. But the first season is great. Made in the 80s, welcome. Pat Plays, welcome. Mr. President, a second boat has hit the bridge. There's no bridge left to hit. But yeah, the footage of the bridge collapsing was pretty wild. It looks like the bridge looks a lot smaller than it actually is, right? But it's like a 180-foot drop or something. Alright, so what are we calling this? TikTok toddlers or something? Here, I want to make a USA like crying that it's... We'll do that. Maybe we'll do it on the next page. Or the next, like a standalone image. What am I drinking? Just some shitty wine. It's a long day, so I needed something. Alright. TikTok. Toddlers throw tantrum. Something like that. Let's make it 18 point. Does that look close enough to the TikTok logo? I think it does, right? I guess it should have a black circle around it. Do we reuse the segment joke? The meaning Zoomers as toddlers? I think Gen Alpha uses TikTok too, and tons of millennials. It's not a shot at it's not a shot at Zoomers. It's the shot at TikTok users. TikTok? That's funny. Oh, you know what's good? TikTok for TikTok. I don't know. Make this white. Pull this down a bit. Let's make this 16 point. TikTok for TikTok. What is a Zoomer? A Zoomer is a member of the generation after millennials. I think they were born from like 1997 to 2015 or something like that. Let me see. Generation Z, known as Zoomers, mid to late 1990s to early 2010s. Yeah, so like millennials most often are considered like 1980, 1981 to 1996 or so. So Zoomers would be like 1997 until early 2010s. British Ball Animations, welcome. Hello, you came from yesterday. That was amazing, so the stream will probably be good too. Thank you. Glad you enjoyed it. 1997 to 2012, depending on who you ask. Okay. Yeah, Gen Z. Zoomer is a good, I don't know. I think a bunch of you guys are Zoomers. What do you think of, like, the word Zoomer? I've never, like, thought millennial was very punchy. But I don't think millennial has, like, a positive or a negative connotation to it. When I think of the term boomer or Zoomer, I think it has a negative connotation. You know? And Gen X never got a nickname. They're just called Gen X. Why does nobody like Gen Y? Gen Y is was what millennials were called before we were called millennials. Gen Z and Gen Alpha are one of the most hated generations in the world. That's not true. I think everybody hates boomers. You made a meme and you posted to r/Europe. Let me see. Europe. It's a good sub. Circle Jerk sub. Which one is yours? Alright, I think TikTok for TikTok is good. Alright, so this will be... Let me save this. PNN. TikTok 1. Let's change, do a couple different expressions. Whoops. TikTok 2. TikTok for TikTok. Let's do an angry expression. TikTok 2. Or TikTok 3. Wait, no. Hold on. Save as. And then do happy. PNN. And then I can just decide which expressions to use when I'm actually making the video. The one with Frank Afrique was your meme? Let me see. Was it today, or? "9/11 canonically happened in cars," but here's a better question. Was Osama bin Laden the plane, or was he a car hijacking the plane? That's a great question. I don't think I've ever actually watched Cars all the way through. I sort of fell off Pixar after... I think Toy Story 4 was the last one I saw. Wasn't there like a DreamWorks ripoff of Cars called Planes? I wonder if 9/11 happened in the Planes universe. Do they reference 9/11 like explicitly in the Cars universe? Is that like a plot point? Planes are canon in Cars? Are the Planes characters themselves too? Like, are they sentient? Or are they just planes? Like normal planes? How would hijacking a plane work if it's alive? I don't know, it'd be like mind control or something. Oh, Planes was a Pixar movie too? I thought it was DreamWorks. Let me see. Planes movie. No, it's not. It's not Pixar. It is Disney, but it's not Pixar. It's Disney Toon Studios. But it looks very similar. 9/11 might have happened in Cars too. Cherry Love Heart, welcome. Make a list of all the movie universes that in which 9/11 is canon. M Youngblood, what was the name of your meme? Oh, you posted the link. You can't post external links in YouTube chat, as far as I'm aware. So whatever the title was, I can just do a Control F and find it. All right, TikTok for TikTok. I think, what is this? Peace. Okay. We'll make this USA or something. Okay. Have you guys ever watched the Bee Movie? Hold on, I think I have a USA I can copy paste. I have like an alien one, right? Yeah, this. I'll just copy and paste this. Whoa, that's not what I wanted. No, I'm not going to. Let's try it. Actually, let's do a full-size ball. That's not good. There's a Disney Channel movie about 9/11. Was that the one with God, I think I know what you're talking about. It's like about a family, like a Navy family, and they're on an aircraft carrier or something for like Family Week or something. And they like unravel like a giant American flag on the flight deck. It was really corny from what I remember, and seemed like a propaganda piece for Disney preteens. Alright, let's do sunglasses. We're gonna make him angry. Sunglasses, always fun to draw. It needs to be bigger. That eye is too big. Just take this, flip it, image, transform, flip horizontal, move it. Okay. I can make a YouTube joke on this panel. What do you mean you're banning TikTok? I have to use YouTube now? Favorite animated movie? Animated movie? I'd have to think. My favorite Pixar movie is WALL-E. What's everybody's favorite Pixar movie? YouTube is better for you. I mean, I have no idea. I've never actually really used TikTok, so... I've heard the algorithm is, like, scary good at keeping you addicted. Estonia. Hi, guys. Finland said I can into Nordic. You just gave me a brilliant idea for a comic. Do you guys know that scene in Terminator 2 where Arnold calls John Connor's parents, or not his parents, his step-parents? And I forget the question he asks. He asks a question, and it's a question that is answered by like the imitation, or by the T-1000 posing as his stepmother. And then he hangs up Arnold hangs up the phone, and he looks to John Connor and he says, "Your step-parents are dead." I have a great idea. Okay, I have to write this down. I have a great idea for a Nordic joke. Thank you, Estonia. The entire country of Estonia, thank you for inspiring me. Terminator 2 is a great, great film. Let's see, Polandball. Where's my... Okay, here's my ideas document. Oh my god. I want to do this off stream now. And I want to put this comic out tomorrow because it'd be super popular. There's no doubt in my mind. Everyone would love this comic. Okay. Your step-parents are dead. Oh my god, this is such a good idea. Terminator 2 is clearly the better movie, but you love Aliens more. I don't think it's clearly the better movie. I think Aliens and Terminator 2 are very much like the same kind of movie, you know? But James Cameron did both of them around the same... Well, not around the same time, but he did both of them. So it makes sense that they feel similar. What's my opinion about country humans? I don't draw country humans, but if people like them, more power to them. It's not for me. Okay. What do you guys think about UFOs? What car brand would Osama bin Laden be? Every terrorist every terrorist has a Toyota Hilux, right? So he'd be a Toyota Hilux. You know, whenever you see images of, you know, like ISIS or Al Qaeda or whatever doing their bullshit in the Middle East, they're always on a Toyota pickup truck with a machine gun on the back, right? Alright, let's erase some of this. Alright. Merge these. God, I hate drawing the US so much. Such an annoying flag. I gotta complain about it every single time I do it. Red lines behind. erase this. Merge these. Red, 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 blue. Let's do some stars. Hate drawing stars too. Takes forever. Mr. President, there are too many states nowadays. Please eliminate 3. I am not a crackpot. What do you call a dog that's an ISIS? I don't know. What? You hate UFO stories because the whole genre is based off this one guy getting gaslit by the Air Force? Yeah, true. What's the most stereotypical thing about America? Oh, that's a good question. There are a lot of stereotypes about Americans and America. Americans are fat. Most Americans are fat. It's absolutely true. But the U.S. is not the fattest country in the world anymore. I don't know if it was ever #1, but it's always like those Pacific Island nations because they import like almost all of their food because they have very little arable land. So all of the food that they import is highly processed food. And they generally don't live in like dense urban environments, you know, walkable environments where you would have like naturally burn calories by like walking places. So they live relatively sedentary lifestyles. And they eat garbage. So like Nauru and Vanuatu and the Marshall Islands and Palau or whatever are all like super fat countries. Mexico, I believe, is fatter than the U.S. too. Which makes sense, because like Mexican food is like awful for you, but it's so good. Imagine if Germany lost World War I and a hypothetical World War II. We'd be all speaking English by now. It's a relatively common joke in the U.S. is that if it weren't for the French, we'd be speaking English right now. So the French were instrumental in helping the U.S. get independence from Britain. Honestly, France intervening in the American Revolutionary War might have been one of their best investments in history. So the U.S. has turned out to be one of their most important allies. Helped liberate them in World War II. Came in at the last minute in World War I, but hastened the end of World War I. Alright, let's merge these. Okay, we got USA here. Okay. Let's give him a phone. Oh, hold on. There's a little red dot there. Okay. Let's see if I can draw a phone. Almost. That's pretty shitty. Too curved on that side. Okay, put the Apple logo or something, right? What's the Apple logo look like? An apple. The bite is on the right side. I think it's pretty good. Move him over here a bit. Actually, hold on. Let's center this. Okay. Let me just make this smaller. I think this is a pretty good slide to have. Zoomer wouldn't capitalize YouTube. Most millennials wouldn't either. I've always been one of those people, like whenever I text or type, I use proper punctuation and grammar. And I like capitalization and stuff like that. So this is just a habit of mine. What's my favorite YouTuber? Who's my favorite YouTuber? Cool Worlds. I put it in the chat before, but I'm like a huge space and science nerd. Go look up Cool Worlds. It's run by Professor David Kipping and his team at Columbia University in New York. He's an astrophysicist. He specializes in exomoons. Or not specializes in exomoons, but like that's his pet project right now. He has this YouTube channel. It's all about, it's like a relatively accessible science channel, but it doesn't sort of like pretend, it doesn't dumb scientific concepts down, really. Like, he gets into statistics, you know, probabilistic modeling of certain scenarios, and his team now has time in to use the James Webb Space Telescope to search for exomoons. So they are hoping that they'll be able to find the first confirmed exomoon, which would be a moon around an exoplanet. So we found thousands of planets around other stars at this point, but we've never found a moon around another planet outside of the solar system. I mean, there's no doubt in anyone's mind that they exist. You know, it's just we haven't actually gotten confirmation. You call a dog in ISIS a terrorist? That's clever. Do a Polandball with a plunger. I've done that before. Extremely hot take, but France should be part of a larger superpower. Someone else should eat it, not war. You mean just more Western superpowers? Pog? So, yeah, like, the European Union has all of the ingredients to be a superpower. The only thing it's missing is the political will to federalize, to become a single country. The European Union is rich, it's populous, it has relatively good geography, and it already has several nuclear, or I guess now it only has one nuclear power, but high standard of living, and a liberal democracy, made up of liberal democracies. It's just, Europeans' favorite pastime used to be war, right? Europeans loved killing each other. Until 1945. Since 1945, their favorite pastime is pretending that they're too different to be part of the same country. And the examples that Europeans will give you as to why Belgium and Romania could never be part of the same country is what kind of breakfast food they eat. It's total bullshit. The European Union should be a federal government. France, Germany, Romania, Bulgaria, Greece, Cyprus, Spain, they should all be equivalent to states in a federal government. It's silly that Europeans resist this idea. All right, I need another image for a TikTok story. Spain and France should kiss and make up. You're doing a Polandball chart where the countries inside alliance bubbles and the EU is hell to go through? No, they have a point. You shouldn't want to live in the same country as people with different breakfast choices as you. Your favorite YouTube channel is Polandball Official. Thank you. We try. With our shitty comics. A UK and France union would be pretty powerful. Yeah, but I mean, there's no reason to do that when you have basically a proto-federal government in the European Union. But yeah, like a US, or sorry, a union between the UK and France would instantly be like the third most powerful country on the planet after the US and China. If the EU federalized tomorrow, it would be a toss-up as to whether or not it or China is more powerful. But they would be the third, a third superpower. Maybe put North Carolina saying, "Pa, why is TikTok banned?" Why North Carolina? Serbian and Croatian are different languages. True. Yeah, it's Europeans play up the cultural, linguistic differences among them, you know? Especially now that they all speak English. It's ridiculous. There's no good reason for them to not be the EU to be a federal entity. All right. What's next? I need another TikTok. Oh, you're in North Carolina? Okay, cool. Drew reacted to my Gaza food comic. Yeah, like I know he'll put up like an image or whatever of the author's name, but he's still using them without people's permission. On our channel, we don't feature comics without getting express permission from the author, or if it's one of those comics from like 15 years ago that there's no way we could find it anymore. Contact the author. The language bit is fair, though. You live in a relatively metropolitan place in Spain, and English is barely spoken. The Eurobarometer survey or whatever does all of this. They collect this information all the time. But like the percentage of Europeans in the European Union that can hold a conversation in English just gets higher and higher like every year. I want to say like significantly more than half of the population of the EU could carry on a conversation in English. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're fluent, but I think the EU has like the highest rate of bilingualism or like multilingualism of any place in the world. YouTube Ball comes in and says hello menacingly. You heard Armenia wants to join the EU. How is Armenia considered Europe? So, I mean, it's up for debate. A lot of people don't consider Turkey to be part of Europe. I think even if you take the strictest definition of what is Europe, Istanbul, half of Istanbul is still on the European mainland, right? I personally think that the Caucasus and Anatolia, you know, are close enough. You might as well consider them part of Europe. But I get that other people don't consider them to be part of Europe. A lot of people don't consider Russia to really be European, and it's more of its own thing, even though, again, like Europe has sort of vague boundaries. There are some countries that are very obviously part of Europe, right? And some countries that it's less clear, right? Like France is very obviously a European country. No one would suggest otherwise, right? It's about as European as you can get. Turkey is like a transcontinental country, as is Russia. In your opinion, Europe and Asia are one continent? Yeah, well, like a lot of people will just consider it Eurasia. A lot of people consider it Afro-Eurasia because technically it's all connected, right? You know, a continent is not a clearly defined thing. Like the fewest number of continents you can go down to is 3, maybe 4, right? You could have Afro-Eurasia, the Americas, and Antarctica. And then whether or not you want to consider Australia a continent on its own, you can, or you don't have to. Oh, I like this. Okay, Aaron just sent me his panels for the bridge story, and what he's doing, I think I should probably do this, is he's taking like photos of like actual images and photos of stuff and just putting like countries on top of it. Like as long as they're not like copyright protected, it shouldn't be an issue. So I should do that. You'd say Australia's a continent? I have like the sort of maybe it's an archaic view now of like the 7 continents: North and South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Antarctica, and Australia. Almost 6,500 subs. Yeah, we're getting there. Every time Chicken Scuttle Monkey posts one of his video essays, we get a ton of new people. In your opinion, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Georgia, Russia, Turkey, and Cyprus are in Europe and Asia, if that makes sense? Yeah, I think that's a totally fair thing to say as well. Like the Caucasus in particular, like Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan, are very hard to classify geographically because that's basically it. Like those are the only countries that are entirely the Caucasus region, right? And the Caucasus straddle several different major civilizations, you know, and regions. So it's really hard to pin them down. But yeah, I think it's totally fair to consider them both European and Asian. The diversity of content on the channel is fun. Yeah, we try and put different things out. It's a little bit difficult at times because we don't have too many like collaborative things. PNN is probably the most collaborative thing that we do. But the video essays are basically just Chicken Scuttle Monkey doing all of it. It's crazy. And I guess the animations are mostly done by Alpaca, but people do contribute to them. But they do most of the work. Alright, what other stories did we have here? I can't think of something else to do with TikTok. Marble Sphere, see you later. Thanks for joining. Let's see. Oh, we need something for... Oh, you know what I can do? Here. We'll do Russia... We'll do Putin, like, giving a speech about the terrorist attacks. Here, let's put Russia up here. I can reuse this panel. Erase all this. We'll draw Russia here. Haiti's flag was a pain in the ass to draw. Alright, let's do the eyes first. So again, this is going to be Russia. In my headcanon, Russia is basically always mad at everything. Like, it's just a country that's incapable of ever being happy. Just really, really committed to misery. Do that. You started to make a Lord of the Rings comic? Right on. I still have mine. It's unfinished. You should do the TikTok Congress hearing. It was hilarious. Oh yeah, that might be a good idea. I can just take a picture of the here. Let's see. TikTok Congress hearing. It was before the House, right? Maybe I'll draw something. Yeah, I could draw something instead. The CEO of TikTok is Singaporean, right? Does he have American citizenship? Shu Chu? Shu Zi Chu. Singaporean. So I could draw, yeah, I could draw him as Singapore. I don't know if he has American citizenship. Oh, you found my Twitch? I haven't streamed on Twitch in months. Russia was happy right before the Ottoman boats shot at them. Never been happy since. The size of the country doesn't matter, it's the power. Britain 2020. It's your size that matters, Britain 1920. True. You made a Gulf War comic, it's a Roach Nightmare. Did you post it to the subreddit, Alush? Should you do the part where they ask him if he has affiliations with the CCP? Oh, it's called The Rock's Nightmare. Okay, let me look. Rock's Nightmare. I don't see it in the subreddit. Why is Singapore always mad in comics? Is it? I don't think it is. Your Lord of the Rings comic has the United Kingdom, Ireland, Denmark, and Belarus. What would what is Belarus in it? What would a comic based on global cancellation and restarting of debts look like? I don't know. You could make it. You could draw it. Do it. Did you hear us? Forgot you mean didn't veto Palestine ceasefire? What? Oh, did you hear U.S. didn't veto the ceasefire? Yes. That's one of the stories that we're covering. And this is one of the things I'm gonna... I'll have one of the images for that story. So the UN Security Council yesterday or the day before passed a resolution calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. It only took 5 months, you know? And unless they're going to enforce it, it doesn't fucking matter, right? My favorite strategy game. The one I played the most was StarCraft 2. When it came out, I got pretty good at it. I was in I forget what the ranks were. Like platinum or diamond or something. And it just got too hard. Alright, let's draw the flag. Okay. Synergies. Okay. Here, I can change the color of this. So this is... I'm sure you guys know this, but if you watch like a YouTube channel very regularly, that's not like a super high budget channel, you can see like the stock footage that they use to you know, they use as filler, right? Because it's more economical, it saves a lot of time. But, you know, you can do very slight changes. I can just change the color here, now it looks like it's new, right? And there's new viewers every single time we put out a video, so they're not going to recognize that it's reused footage, right? Alright, let's do this. Alright, so for the terrorist attack in Moscow, I think the way of covering this in sort of like a lighthearted manner is like it was very clearly ISIS that was responsible for this, right? Like they claimed responsibility for it. They published body cam footage from the perpetrators themselves. The U.S. intelligence agencies have said that it was ISIS, but Vladimir Putin and the Russian intelligence keep saying that it's the U.S. and Ukraine and the broader West that were responsible for this, right? And I think it's... God, there was a... I don't know. Like the idea of ISIS getting upset that Russia won't recognize that they were responsible for it, I think it's an interesting way of covering it, you know? So, I don't know. Something like this. Here, let's, I think this podium is too big. Most of it's going to get cut off by the ticker anyway, right? So do that. Decadent West is due to terrorism. PNN. What am I calling this one? Moscow Murders 4. You can't remember something big the UN did since the Korean Civil War. At least not big enough to get the US to care. The Korean War was probably the biggest, like, officially UN-sanctioned police action, as it were. But it sanctioned a lot of things in the past. Like, I think the NATO-led intervention in Libya in 2011 or 2012 was sanctioned by the UN. You should include US saying, I warned you. Yes. Do something like that. Let's see. Yeah, people criticize the UN for not being a world government. I mean, it's not, you know? Like, it's a diplomatic forum. I was ranting about this yesterday. The UN is a good thing. It is a good thing that we have a permanent place somewhere on Earth for every country on the planet to talk to one another. That is a decidedly good thing. Expecting the UN to intervene when we don't have a world government or a world police force or anything like that is asinine. Like, yeah, they're going to send strongly worded letters, because what else are they supposed to do? You know? UN resolutions only get enforced when its member states decide to enforce them. Should all countries with seals on their flags have patches? No, not necessarily. It's a stylistic thing. See. Do I have like a stock US image somewhere? Trying to think how I should do this. Why is Kazakhstan a brick? It has something to do with, back on Krautchan, the flares that users would have were a country ball, but for whatever reason, like, the code on the site was broken for Kazakhstan, so it appeared as a brick, and it's something that we just kept ever since. Austria-Hungary is usually depicted as blind, which is kind of accurate considering the performance of World War I. There aren't that many comics about Austria-Hungary because the flag is a pain in the ass to draw. Francis Scott Key bridge collapsed in Baltimore. Yeah, Aaron is going to be covering that in PNN. The Lord of the Rings comic is the potato scene. Belarus is Samwise Gamgee. Oh, I like that. That's funny. You should have Latvia in there, right? The Latvia canal into potato is a pretty classic Polandball joke. Not even Polandball, it predates it. You do Ireland too. What do you think is the worst thing someone can do with Polandball? Genuinely, like, mean-spirited and bigoted things. Like, if you're using Polandball to be genuinely, like, racist or bigoted in some manner, that violates the entire spirit of Polandball. Like, everything in Polandball is done in jest, in good faith. It's all in good fun, you know? Other than that, probably adding hair. Let's see. Yeah, so this is a little difficult to, like, come up with ideas. I haven't actually written the script yet. I just have an outline for the stories that I want to cover, and then, like, in what order. But I need to write an actual script. And then once I have a script, I know, like, it helps to better imagine what the image should be on the screen when that part of the script is going on, you know? One difference between Country Ball and Polandball is that Polandball uses Poland for narrative, means more, while Country Balls don't. Yeah, it's less drawing and it's more like stories. I mean, it's drawing too, but UN watching all the wars going on, saying UN cannot enter world peace would be funny. All the wars probably makes them sad. Here, I have some old comics with the UN. Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, I mean, I think the UN is a good thing. If we didn't have the UN, we would need something like it, right? We've literally gone through that exact same thing before, right? We had the League of Nations. It didn't work, so we created something new, the UN, which does work, right? Because we obviously needed an organization, a global diplomatic forum. Favorite Polandball artist? Aaron, C14, Dick Rhino, or Hinadira. If I have to choose among those three, I would say Dick Rhino. Just because I like his style the most of those three, because it's very comic booky, it's like very actiony, like the balls have weight to them. But all three of them are fantastic. Why are there 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, etc. balls? So we use the billiard balls to represent indigenous peoples or peoples who don't have a state. So like indigenous Africans would be the 8 ball, indigenous Americans would be the 7 ball or something. Indigenous Asians would be the 2 or the 3 ball or something. Aliens are represented by the 6 ball because it's green. So, you know, little green men. Aaron's your favorite? You like the Greenland Nunavut? Do you do a Greenland Nunavut comic? What is Grass Even is great. Yeah, totally agree. I think some of the best artwork going on in the sub right now is What is Grass Even's comics. Let me try and find my UN comic. I've had a few. Oh, I had... This is an old comic. I don't know if this would fly anymore. This isn't the UN. This is the World Health Organization. So France and Germany. I can think we should make more spice in bedroom. Perhaps eliminate our borders. Ooh la la! Allemand, vous êtes très crépus. I was told by French users that crépus is not the right word here. It should be kinky or something. This is a literal translation, so it's not correct. You have Schengen. I'm afraid it's incurable. So I don't know if you can depict the World Health Organization in comics anymore. This is from a long time ago. It's just not a good peacekeeping force. It shouldn't promote itself like that. Because for world cooperation, it doesn't keep peace. I mean, it does do some peacekeeping operations. But yeah, like... The UN, again, is not a world government. Peacekeeping forces are generally made up of people from countries that aren't world powers. Like, UN peacekeepers are almost never American. Or Russian. Or Chinese. Well, I think there are some Chinese UN peacekeepers. But historically, the UN or the US and Russia or the Soviet Union didn't really provide peacekeepers to the UN. So peacekeeping forces tend to come from like African countries, South American countries, Middle East. But again, like the way that human civilization is organized today in 2024 is that the highest power on the planet is the nation state. National governments are the most powerful, the highest level of organization. We don't have a world government. I would like for us to one day have it, but it's not going to happen in my lifetime. The UN is not a world government. That's not the purpose it serves. I think people get carried away, particularly because in like science fiction and sort of future history depictions, the natural sort of take is that if humanity ever has a world government, it'll sort of evolve out of the UN, which is fair. And because the UN is the closest thing we have to a world government, people sort of project the idea of a world government onto it when that's not its purpose. Should Chinland, the newest country, I think, be depicted as Chin? What is Chinland? Chinland. Officially, the state of Chinland is a self-governing polity in Southeast Asia. Its claimed territory encompasses Myanmar's Chin state. It controls nearly all the Chin state in western Myanmar along the borders with Bangladesh and India. The Chinland Council, the ruling authority of Chinland, stated that one of its main goals is the formation of a federal union where Chinland will become an autonomous federal unit within a future federal Myanmar once the State Administration Council military junta has been overthrown. So it looks like it's an unrecognized state, so I don't know that... I mean, you could draw it in Polandball, I'm sure it'd be okay. But I would probably draw it as a normal ball with its flag. It's a cool flag, actually. The, I don't know what kind of birds those are. They're pretty cool. But yeah, do it as a ball. Should you use flags or Poland balls for your alternate future of Europe? Use balls. Also, you like just any Canadian artist. It's nice to see the way your home country sees things represented. We have a different way of seeing the world. There are a ton of Canadian artists in Poland ball. There always have been. Aaron is just by far the most prolific, but I think Oscar Wilde is a Canadian as well. But we've always had a lot of American, Canadian, Swedish, and German authors. In the unification of Germany, both Prussia and Baden became states and then fell into nothing. Yeah, I mean, there was no way Prussia was going to exist after World War II. New Zealand ball, see you later. I'm actually going to end stream there for tonight because it's 9 o'clock my time. I've got to do some other stuff. And I need to work on a script. So I'm going to write a script tonight off stream. And then tomorrow I should be able to stream. It'll probably be a little bit later tomorrow because I have to work out tomorrow evening. But then I can draw for an actual script. So there'll be more... what's it called? I'll have more of an idea for what to draw tomorrow. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your night, afternoon, morning, whatever time it is, wherever you are. In November, will you be covering the UK and USA elections, or too controversial? Also, how do you choose your correspondents? Is it a friend group project, the Reddit mods? Okay, I am going to answer this before I leave. We are going to cover the US elections in November. I don't know exactly how we're going to do it, but it's a very obvious thing that we should stream, and it'd be super popular. I forget when the UK elections are, but I would like to stream that too. But yes, this YouTube channel is 8 people from the Polandball subreddit, a couple mods, and mostly like the longtime power users. And it's collaborative. Sometimes we put out our own individual videos. Sometimes we put out collaborative videos like PNN, for example. But yeah, so don't forget to drop a like on the stream, and I will see you guys tomorrow.